TAP News at 6.
Marietta City Schools is preparing for its second year with a strict ban on cell phones in the classroom. Our Chase Campbell reports on how the school district has adjusted.
Back to School Real Life Ready, helpful answers for busy families, sponsored by Holt Homes and Overhead Door of the Mid-Ohio Valley.
Marietta City Schools is heading into its second full year of a strict cell phone policy, one the district put in place before Ohio's statewide mandate took effect. Under the policy, students keep phones in their lockers or leave them at home entirely during the school day. The same rules apply to teachers. Communications coordinator Christian Hudspeth says the first year came with some growing pains as students, teachers, and parents adjusted to the changes.
I think especially at the older levels where kids tend to have more of their devices, there was a period of pushback, I would say, parents not understanding why students couldn't have devices.
Going into the second year, he says he expects everyone to be more familiar and comfortable with the policy. Hudspeth says the district doesn't have hard data yet on the academic impact of the policy, but points to gains on this year's state report card and says teachers report an easier time managing classrooms with fewer distractions.
There's been positive feedback, of course, from educators. Makes the classroom management a lot more easy, makes distractions a lot more limited in class. Some families have been very, very in favor of it, and I think others that maybe had some concerns now that they've seen it happen for a year, some of their fears might be alleviated moving forward.
Hudspeth says he believes the policy has also helped students unplug and be more present and engaged socially, improving their mental well-being.
I think, just for students to be able to be at school and focus on being a student, being a friend, being a player if they're working on sports, I think that's crucial for them when they might be going home and being on devices the rest of the night.
Hudspeth says the district's top priorities remain student safety and academics. State law required all public schools in Ohio to adopt a policy prohibiting cell phones in class no later than January 1st of this year. In Marietta, Chase Campbell, WTAP News.